That's a nice watch. Pretty classy. I mean, I'm not used to wearing classy watches like this. This is not my heritage. What do you mean, man? Well, this is a SPB147, but let's be honest, the version here, don't have it on the stock bracelet, the stock strap. I have it on a Nevada Grenchen Tropic, which I prefer. This is actually called the SBDC 105. It's only 40.5 millimeters, so this is a real departure for me. I have 8-inch wrists. This is small. Now, I say this because there was a time when I wore 60 millimeter watches. I call that my watch dark ages. What was that? 2005, 2013. You have to look at the period of my watch collecting. I was in the oversized watch wilderness. So what happened? Well, oh boy, well, let's tell the story. About 15 years ago, I wrote a book called Man Points. It never got published, and I thought it was going to get published because I had a literary agent, pretty big one. He was excited about Man Points. It was about how men were insecure and they were always tallying up their man points, subtracting, adding. The guy who wore the wife beater all year round, regardless of wife beater in America. If you're not American, a wife beater is the white undershirt tank top. I don't know what they call it these days, but wearing one of those in cold weather, you got, man, it was, I'm glad it didn't get published. It was kind of dated. I'm an old dude. I'm a boomer, as my daughters call me. I'm a boomer. But anyways, the literary agent, he wanted me to study a best-selling author at the time. His name is Tucker Max. And he wrote books celebrating womanizing and drunkenness, which is not what I was doing. I wasn't doing that. I don't know why the agent wanted me to study his books, but, being the single toxic male, rakish libertine was Tucker Max's brand, and he wallowed in it unapologetically, and he marketed his moral turpitude with surprising impunity. And then around 2012, he kind of disappeared. I didn't think about him, and I hadn't thought about him for a long time. And then this morning, I'm listening to Chris Williamson, very talented. He's a British dude who now lives in Austin, Texas. He has a podcast called Modern Wisdom. I listen to him all the time. He's extremely bright, extremely articulate, and he's a self-described student of Sam Harris. But anyways, he brought up Tucker Max this morning. I hadn't thought about Tucker Max a long time, and he said Tucker Max went from one extreme to another. He went from this notorious bachelor to this family man. He now is married with 4 kids, living on a ranch in Texas with an apocalyptic cache of weapons. And it's like he did this deep dive into the lifestyle of a drunken miscreant. And I realized that was just a phase. That was just a fad. And now look at him. He's moved on, to family life. And so as I thought about that this morning, and I am a watch obsessive, by the way. I think about watches a lot. I thought to myself, is my watch hobby a fad? I mean, is it Tucker Max fad? And here's the thing, man. My hobby started in 2005, and here we are. Almost 20 years have passed. So was my watch hobby, is it just a passing phase? Is it just a fad? The answer should be a simple one. Clearly, the answer should be no. Of course, it's not just a phase. It's not just a fad. However, if you take a closer look at my hobby, there have been phases within it. There have been fads within it. For those of you who don't know me, I used to accumulate large amounts of watches. I mean, in excess of 60 watches, as big as Postables on the wrist. A huge contrast to this beautiful gilt cappuccino, butterscotch, retro Seiko diver here. Unbelievable. I used to watch TV infomercials. This would be the early aughts, in which the salesman bloviated on and on about these Postable size watches as if these monstrosities had the power to change my life, to turn me into Superman. And you know what, man? I'm gonna be honest with you guys, man. I used to look at these timepieces as an opportunity for a muscle flex. The muscle flex was more important to me than the quality and the aesthetics of the watch. I mean, I'm not going to lie to you guys, man. I had no self-awareness that my watch muscle flex was not a sign of strength and power, but a sign of impoverishment and brokenness. I mean, I'll tell it to you now. I have the self-awareness now. You know, rear view mirror, whoop-de-doo, Mr. Rear View Mirror, whoop-de-doo to you. Congratulations. Now, here's the other thing. These watches were so cheap, so gauche, so confectionery. You know how long I fell in love with them? About 2 weeks at the most. Maybe a day. Maybe 2 minutes. And then I sold them on eBay. My relationship with these cheap monstrosities was reckless, thoughtless, irresponsible. I was going down a rabbit hole, and there was no one to stop me. So, ladies and gentlemen, it occurred to me this morning after listening to Chris Williamson that I was, between 2005 and 2013, in the Tucker Max Bachelor phase of watch collecting. And it took me 8 years of self-abasement, humiliation, and mortification to get out of it. And when I did get out of it, what's crazy is I didn't leave the watch hobby. The watch hobby continued. The watch hobby continues today. And I'm asking myself, what happened? What was the pivot point? What got you out of the cheap, pasta, bowl, grotesque watch phase? Because, you know, to be honest with you, I didn't have a moment like Paul at Damascus. My conversion to higher quality watches was more gradual than that. However, there was one watch that I remember that was the catalyst that started my slow conversion away from pasta dish debauchery to a respectable watch as you see here before you. And I'll tell you what it was. I don't even know why I bought it. I don't remember what happened, but it was the first gen Seiko Monster. And I remember holding it in my hand like Luke Skywalker holding the saber. It was alive in my hand. You know why? Because of the loom. The loom seemed to be this living creature, breathing, pulsating in my hand. And when I absorbed the powerful loom, like the saber in the hand of Luke Skywalker, God, you're a geek, McMahon. You need therapy. As I was holding this watch, I realized these monstrosity TV watches in my collection had no loom. And this contempt for them was so powerful that I sold all 65 of them on eBay. Took me 6 months, but I was free from them forever. I was free from them forever, ladies and gentlemen. Let me have a sip of coffee. It's early in the morning. Got to do this for the construction workers across the street there. They're delicious. All right, so here we are. It's 2024. I'm still a watch enthusiast. Close to 20 years have passed, and I'm still in the fever swamp of watch infatuation. And I do have mixed feelings about it. And now here's what I want to tell you guys. I have tried to change who I am as a watch enthusiast, and I have not been able to do it. And let me give you a couple examples. I've always wanted to be the one and done guy. The one and done guy. The guy who finds his grail and then he rides off into the sunset. And you know what? I can't change who I am. That's not who I am. I'm not the one and done guy. You know who I am? I'm the art collector. For me, I look at watches like art. I'm the dude who wishes I was like that rich socialite who spends his Sundays walking in art galleries in Newport Beach, in Laguna Niguel, in La Jolla, and I'm buying whatever art I want. And you know what, man? I wish I wasn't that person. I'll tell you why. Because as a result of being more of an art collector, I end up buying more watches than I need. There's a gap a big gap, a chasm between artistic appreciation and functionality. I mean, honestly, this is the only watch I need right here. What else? It's comfortable, it's gorgeous, it's timeless, it's retro, it has the right vibe, man. It's like a Joni Mitchell song from 1974. Yeah. So, I don't like that gap between artistic appreciation and functionality. Here's a second problem. I'm one of those watch enthusiasts, and dude, I wish I wasn't like this, but I'm not going to lie to you guys. I am constantly energized, constantly animated to go on the hunt for the next big thing, the next shiny object. And you know what? This sucks because it diminishes the love for the watches I already have. I wish I could absorb that popular music sage, Sheryl Crow, who says, I don't have digital, I didn't have diddly squat, it's not having what you want, it's wanting what you've got. Yeah, soak up the sun, McMahon. You soaking up the sun, guys? Have you achieved happiness, McMahon? Well, I don't know, but I am wearing a t-shirt right now that spells happiness. Can you see it? Is it working? Ho-ho! Yeah, whatever. So, here's the other thing I found out about me over the years. I don't have a tolerance for non-diver watches. I'm sorry. Some of you are saying, hey, McMahon, what are you doing? You need variety. You need a dressy watch. You need a chrono. You need a complication, man. I'm sorry, I can't do it. All my watches are divers. They all have strong lume. They all have unidirectional bezels. I don't know. I can't help it. I don't know what you want me to do. Here's the other thing I discovered about myself. I suffer from the watch potency principle. The more watches I accumulate, the less potent and powerful my watches become. Anything I get at this point in my life will diminish the beauty of this. And I always have to remind myself of that. Does reminding myself of that stop me from buying another watch? No. That's the thing. That man cannot be stopped. Watch out for that man. He's coming around the corner. All right, here's another thing I discovered. I suffer from what I call, and this is a new principle that I discovered last week, and my math was wrong in my last video. I should have said 49 in the video. I think I said 21. I suffer from the times 7 principle. Here's the good news about the times 7 principle. First, let's go with the good news. The good news is I have amazing taste in watches. It's so amazing. I know how to sniff out the most beautiful watches in the world. The most beautiful watches available. That's very good news. The bad news is that my watches are so beautiful that just one watch is the equivalent of 7 watches. That is the times 7 principle. What this means is I currently own 7 watches, but in reality I own 49. And you know what that's like? For me, it's like hacking my way through a rainforest with a machete. It's not easy rotating 49 watches. Thanks a lot, McMahon, for the times 7 principle. Some of you guys are so mad at me right now, you're going, oh my God, he just gave me this suggestion of the times 7 principle, and now that I've thought about it, I can't unthink it, and now I'm going to suffer from it. Thanks, McMahon, you just ruined my life. You're welcome. All right, so here's the thing, man. I'm no longer in the Tucker Max phase, and I'm grateful for that. But you know what, man? I'm in my art collector phase, and that has its own challenges. And let me conclude this. Let me be real with you guys. Let me be honest, because I haven't been honest enough. You know what's crazy about the watch hobby? I can't call it a hobby, because you know the word hobby, that implies choice. Oh, I decided to have a hobby. I decided I'm gonna delve into the world of watches. No, that's not what it is, man. I don't have a choice. For me, the watch hobby is a brain hijack. Therefore, I don't have a hobby. I have an affliction. And to call it anything else is dishonest. It's an obfuscation of the truth. My quest for artistic beauty in the realm of timepieces is both exhilarating and oppressing at the same time. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, if you have a cure for my affliction, I'm open to suggestions. And let me tell you guys something. I'm so desperate, if I have to venture into a haunted forest, penetrate a phalanx of guard dogs from hell, and return with a magic sword to cure me of my affliction, by God, I'll do it. That's right. Meanwhile, I'm going to enjoy the day. I'm going to go shopping for my family. I think I'm going to wear this. It's Monday. And I'm going to wear this gorgeous 40.5 non-Tucker Max Bachelor Phase watch. All right, ladies and gentlemen, do you share my affliction? Can we just discard the word hobby? Let me know what you think. Until next time, I'm out.